Beautiful, beautiful. We just have to continue. Yesterday was a beautiful day, though it was a short one, and it was awesome. We started talking about Amazon S3, Amazon Simple Storage Services, and we went on to show ourselves how to create file and how to create bucket and folder, how to attach files, create bucket and also folder, which we did yesterday. And some of the folders created are what is being shown on the screen. So also yesterday, we did lots of things yesterday. We looked at the introductory aspect of S3, and we wanted to open file, and that is where we stopped the class. But though when others left, we continued with the policy, but I think now is the right time for us to move on. So we will go in like this from a bucket, which is already an existing bucket, which we have. And so we can see how to view the items in the bucket, and then we'll move on to set bucket policy. This is to see, let's go this way by entering this bucket and see if we have any object in it. Now, looking at it, there is no object showing in. So let's quickly attach a file by coming down here to upload. You go this way, you say upload, and having done that, you come to add file and you click in, then you go straight to the file that you want to attach. And in my own case, I really want to attach this file, that's CEO1. So that is what I have here. Let's see, the file is attached. Beautiful. We see that this file is attached. You can see it. So we come down to upload. All right. We have it uploaded. So we close and we go back to the bucket. The bucket name is Timex replication 2. Let's get in. And this is what we have here. So we will click it like this. And if we want to view what the file is all about, we immediately go on by clicking open. And it will take us to where the file can be viewed. Wow, this is Timex, the CEO1. You can see this is the file which we attached. Now let's get back in and see how we can be able to view. Now it is from the console we viewed the CEO1, which means except we allow public to view, no one from outside can see what it's in the folder, what is in the bucket attached. So now let's quickly go down to the permissioning where we can let people from the YY world to view the content which we have. So we come in here to the permission, and once we have it been clicked, okay, let's go to the bucket level. All right, let's go back to the bucket level. We get in, okay. Then you come back to permission. Then once you have it, you come into, now they said block all public access, and it's on. All public access are blocked. So from the public, no one would be able to view this bucket which we have here. So let's start by editing it. So we edit it this way, and we go down to uncheck this button. All right. So having done that, we will save changes, and it's asking us to confirm if truly we want to allow the public to view on what we have in our bucket. And really, that's what we want to do. So let's go by confirming it. So we are sure of what we are doing. Yeah, let them see it. So we say confirm. That's what I've done, is saved. So we still would be able to go down, 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 and see how it is. So now we have some URL here. All right. This one is authentic user group. This is S3 log delivery group. All right. So let's quickly go to the object and see the object if we can access it through the public, which we have. Sorry, let's go. This is it. Let's enter it. Enter the object. Let's go down. So now let's copy the object URL and go in if we can still view it. It's copied. Now we place it in here. Let's paste it here in the new tab and see we are still not allowed. You see, access denied. Now, I haven't seen this. It shows that, yeah, we have the key to break in to be able to view it, but the policies right there are not enabled for somebody to see. So we have to go back in and see what we can do. All right. So still, we go back to the permission knob by going into the bucket. This is the bucket, and we now click permission. I haven't done that. You would go down, okay, to edit policy. When you get in here, you say edit policy. Wow, this is beautiful. So we have this window being shown. Here. So now we have to go in here to policy generation. All right. Generation takes us to this place. And what do we want to do? We want to ensure that we have the public to be able to view what we have in our S3 bucket. So we quickly get in here, and under select type of policy is S3 bucket policy that we are talking about. So let's check it. Now we have it. So we now go down to step 2. Under the effect, you say allow. Allow. Okay. So for the principal is anyone. So for anyone, what you need to do is to use the star button, is to place the star button in there. All right. Can you see it? That's the star button showing in. So now we have to get down to action. Already under the AWS service, S3 is checked. Amazon S3 is checked already. So let's get into the action and look for get object, because that is the access we want to give to the general public to be able to get the object. So let's go down and look for get object. Wow, get object is here. Let's check it. So we've given it this permission to fly. Now there is something here. They said Amazon resource name ARON. So we have to go back to where the policy was, the generation started. Let's get him back. Now this is where the ARON is. So let's copy it by clicking this double box. Now it's being copied. It's a bucket ARON copied. Wow. So let's get him back to where we were. So we have to paste it here. Okay, you paste it here. And then there's something you still have to do there. You /, you click /. Can you see it? I haven't done that. You still impute that anyone by placing the star. Okay. Wow. So we are progressing. So let's say hard statement. Let's click hard statement and let's see what's going to happen. Okay, we have this statement being added. So now let's generate the policy by clicking generate policy. Okay, this is the policy which we have generated. Now, this is a JSON document, which is very, very easy. The ID is what is being shown here, and the version is 2012-1017, which we have here. And the action is get object, and the effect is what? Allow. Can you see the allow? And the principle is anyone. And the resource is the ARN which we copied. All right. So now let's copy this policy by, okay, let's go this way. We copy it. All right. Let me make it easy. So close now. All right. Now move back to the previous tab where we have policy. So we have to paste it here now. We have to paste it here. Okay. So you drop it like this. It's very easy, right? Right? You drop it like this and you go down to save changes. You go down to save changes. Okay. Can you see that? Save changes. All right. It's saved now. So we are good to go. So let's get down, or back to the object level. Let's get back to the object level. Okay. Let's get back to the object level and copy the URL which we had that wasn't working, the object URL. All right, let's copy now. Okay, beautiful. Let's go back in to, no, we had denied here, right? You can see access denied. Let's place it in here and see if we can be allowed to view the object. Beautiful. Can you see what we have just done? That's how you configure the bucket policy to enable the general public to view what you have in there. So having said that, we are taught on how we can view, set up a static website on S3 the other day by Benjamin, and it was a wonderful class. Every one of us, value was added onto us. So, but today now we may want to maybe refresh what we would do. So let's see how we can create a static website. Okay. Let's go back to, first of all, all right, we would go down to this object, which we already have. Okay, and ensure that we have the public URL all enabled, which we have done, which we have already done. So having done that, you know that before we were able to add the policy, the public URL was enabled. That is to say that the bucket can be viewed from the outside in. So what are we doing? We go back to the bucket level, go back to the bucket level and down to properties. All right. You click your properties back. So, and you move down to confirm if it's allowed for the general public to view what you have in there. Right, I believe we are okay. Now this is a static website hosting. Is disabled. So now we have to enable it. But remember, the objects in there have what? The public URL already enabled. So we would click edit here for us to enable it. So we have this enabled. Okay, we have this enabled, right? So host a static website. That is what we have in the host you tick host a static website. Now they said index document, we have to specify the home and the default page of it. All right, so we may want to say we may want to say we are good in there, but let's see the kind of the index document what we will impute there. Let's just say index dot html html. That's all we have here. So we go down to save what we have just done here. Save changes. Okay, so if we have this right, we wouldn't have any challenge. We will go back to, hold on, let me confirm this first. Okay, everything here is good. So let's go back up to the object and ensure that we are doing the right thing. So let's go to object, click object, and we may want to upload maybe a new object, but we already have an object showing here for us. So we click it. Let's click it and see. Let's click it and see what would come in there. Hold on. Let's go to the bucket hosting endpoint. That is what we want to resolve here now. Okay, let's go back a little and upload a new file rather. Let's upload a new file rather and see what we can do with that. So what do we have here? Let's say we've taken CEO before. Let's take this IAM here. All right. Okay. Let's go down to upload. I want to ensure that I'm doing the right thing. Certain times you have to ensure that everything is right and they are in the right places before you can. Okay, so now we have the public URL now showing as enabled. So we copy this. Right, I believe the endpoint is enabled, but let's see. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's check if we can access it from the general public. If we would have, there's something I think, okay, this is specify key do not exist. That shows that a particular stuff is, oh, okay. We would have to go back to object and upload. Let's say upload again. Let's add file. Now we have to add the HTML file. We have to add the HTML file by coming down here, AWS code. You can have this code saved on your system, so you can attach it. So I have the index HTML file uploaded now into my bucket. So all right, we close. We go back to the object, which is here. We click it. We see if everything is right by going down. Okay, let's go back to the properties to confirm that. Just hold on a little. Let's check here. I believe, no, we'll have to go back. Let's move down. Okay, let's copy back the URL and see if we can have access to it. Beautiful. So the HTML, this shows that the public can actually access that file. You can see this file copied is I love coffee, hello world, which was an HTML file I downloaded from Stefan Marek. It shows that we can go public. So this is your first website, so to say, your second website rather, because we are able to have one designed by Benjamin the last time. Okay, please don't look forward to the video. Be part of the class first. When you're part of the class, you can now talk about looking forward to the video. So let's continue and talk about versioning. You know, we introduced versioning yesterday, and I want us to take a look at what versioning is all about. We expected to enable versioning. Versioning would give you the ability for you to trace previous and recent documents if peradventure an update is made to any object. The versioning will give you the direction, and then versioning is enabled at the bucket sometimes, sorry, all times rather, at the bucket level. Let's say we go in here, okay? And one thing you need to understand is this, that for instance, if you have an object in the bucket, which we already have like this, can you see them? And versioning is enabled, all the objects would be null. The previous object will be null, and the versioning starts counting when a new object is being added into it, like a modification. So now we go back to properties to see how we can enable versioning. You come down here, you see edit versioning. It disables, you see it. So we say edit and you enable the version. So once you enable the versioning, you go down to say save changes. Okay, and the Tmex bucket 1, that's what we are working with. All right, so for me to explain what versioning is all about, let's go back to the object and see what we can do by uploading a new one of what we already have there and see if there will be a change. Okay, let's take this and attach. Okay, this is our new bucket.
I can hear you.
Beautiful.
Mama.
We can hear you too. So let's continue. Kindly mute, all right? Let's close and go back to the Tmex bucket 1. And see. All right. Now, these are the documents showing. Let's click this button by saying show version.
Mama. Mama,
Can you see that? The previous one, the one we had. Please, Mama, can you mute? All right. Thank you, Mama. So you can see the previous index HTML file we have is showing in null as the version. That's the previous one. Now the recent one has a version ID. So that's how you can trace your recent or either updated version in AWS. All right, as you save a particular document few times. So that's about versioning. And let's go on to see if we can start the replication we talked about. Yesterday, we introduced what replication is all about. Then I told us about cross-regional replication, and we also talked about same region replication, right? Same region replication is that you are creating two buckets in the same region, maybe in different AZ, but just said in the same region, and you are enabling it in a way that if you have any object saved in in the source bucket, it should be replicated in the destination bucket. So that would be like a backup. Peradventure, there is an advent of challenges and something happened to that particular region, you know that it's been replicated and saved somewhere else. So now that is about that. So we would have to take a look at it by going in back to the bucket. We'll create two buckets. Okay. So for these two buckets we want to create, to give respect to my friend, I'm going to use his name to create the bucket, and Benjamin is my friend's name. So permit me to use Benjamin replication to create the very first one. You saw where I went into the bucket and I click create bucket. So I say Benny. It's a nice guy. I say Benny. Okay. Benny replication, right? Yeah. 1. Okay, let me just copy it and keep it in my clipboard. So I want to create the next one. So you can see the region it is US East 1. All right. So we leave everything the way they are, and let's see, we are supposed to enable versioning in it. So let's enable versioning, right? For every cross-region replication, you have to ensure that you enable versioning. Okay. All right. I say enable version, and I go down to say create bucket. Something is happening. It's like Benny Benny has done something wrong somewhere. They are trying to tell us something is not right. Okay, they say bucket name must not contain uppercase. Wow, they want my friend's name to be in a lowercase, which I have just corrected. Let's go down to save. All right, so we say create bucket. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. So this is Benny replication 1 is our source bucket. So let's move to the second bucket, which is going to be our destination bucket. All right, so now this is Benny replication 2. And remember, we are advised not to use uppercase. So we may want, if we leave it in this same US East one, it's called same region replication. Or else, if we have to change the region to US East 2, it becomes cross-region replication. And the same thing we're going to do, we'll go down there to see how versioning is enabled. So we enable versioning, right? That's what one rule we're going to do. Okay, so we'll go down with the speed and say, create bucket for us, please. Okay, so we have done this, which everything is going on well. Now our source bucket is the Benny replication 1. Let's get into our source bucket by clicking in. Then see how we can upload the file that we want to replicate in the Benny replication 1. We say upload, which is pretty simple, and say add file. Add file, let's get to my desktop and see if we can access a beautiful file to add in there. Okay, what am I going to take? Okay, let's say we take TDCC, okay, and we upload it in. All right, and then having done that, we'll get down to upload. Okay. Okay, now we close and go back to our source bucket. I think okay, let's go back to management now. We'll go to management under the source bucket. And click create replication rule. So we give it a name. The replication rule may be Benny. Let's say Benny. Okay. Then the status, we have to ensure that we enable the status, which is enabled in here. Let's go down and see if now this is our source bucket. Then we are being asked to choose a particular rule. Is it limited to the scope of this rule using one or more filters? We'll say apply to all objects in the bucket. Let's take that. Once you click apply to all objects in the bucket, now over here they say choose a bucket in these accounts, right? So if peradventure the bucket is in another account, you could have checked this, but now it's in the same account and the destination bucket becomes Benny replication 2. So let's see if we can get Benny replication 2. Okay, let's browse it and see if we can pick it out. Benny replication 2, wow, becomes our destination bucket. So what is remaining is for us to choose path. And the guy is showing right in there They say choose from existing IAM rules, which we've chosen the destination bucket. We copy the bucket name and then we placed it there. And what do? We choose from existing IAM rules. Okay, let's see. We say create a new rule. That's what we should pick. Create a new rule. All right, it's very simple. Okay, so we have done that. Let's see, check if we have another thing that we must check. We may, okay, let's confirm if something is hidden somewhere. Yeah, I can't find anything that we must check. Let's go down. Let's go down. Okay. So we may want to use this opportunity to enable delete marker. So the delete marker, what is the meaning of delete marker replication? So delete markers created by S3 delete operation will be replicated. Delete markers created by a lifecycle rules are not replicated. What are they saying? The delete marker, once you have an object being deleted, is being replicated also in the destination bucket, but it shows that it will put a mark sign, delete marker, and it will version it. The delete marker becomes another version of the object which you have deleted. So you use it to want to control your file. Peradventure, you have some users that you wouldn't want them to now start deleting things at random. So you include the delete marker there. And that is that. You now say, save. But if peradventure you want to delete it, you have to go back to permanently delete any file that you want out. So this is how it works in here. So that is about replication. So what do we do? They said existing object. So no, do not replicate existing object. Yes, replicate existing object. Let's say maybe we check this or we leave it. Let's submit. Either way, we already have an object in it, right? So let's say submit. Replicate existing object, which we have done. We say save. Okay, path to complete the report destination. Let's go back. I think we have to go back. We wouldn't want to complicate ourselves. Let's go back to replication rule. I think let's say Benny one status enabled. Thus apply to all objects, which we checked. We go back to choose a bucket in this account, which is checked, and then we browse, right? And what we did was to pick this guy. Okay. We have to ensure that we're keeping things always simple. Keep things simple, all right? The IAM rule was created there. So we include our delete marker back and we say save. All right, they say rule name already in use, Benny rule 1 So your name convention must be unique. Stay safe. So we have done this and we are good. So these are the two rules which we have created. And the second one, let's go back to the replication 2 and see, go to bucket. Let's get into replication 2 and see if what we added can show. Okay, let's reload. Let's reload and see. Nothing is showing now. Let's go back to one and upload the file. Let's go back to replication 1. Then replication 1, and now upload a new file and see. TDC now. Okay. Let's go back to bucket. Check in Benny replication 2. It's still not replicating, but I believe all the rules which we created was right. Maybe we have to go back and edit the rules. Okay. What to be the cost? We did everything, didn't we? We did everything. We came down here. We created the replication rule, which was right. We placed the ID we enabled, which on the status we enabled. What else would be missing? We took a bucket in this account by saying apply to all objects. We click apply to all objects, and then we choose a bucket in this account. Well, you know what we did? And we say choose from existing IAM rule. Which we pick our destination name. Maybe this time around, we have to let the delete marker slide. Let's recreate and let the delete marker slide. So we're going to go back to bucket. I think versioning was enabled. Let's confirm if versioning is enabled in the two buckets. Okay, that's one challenge that we may have. Let's confirm it. Sorry. Let's also enable. Let's this block of public access is right. Whether we open it or not, it can still be okay there. bucket version is enabled, I don't think that would be a challenge. Let's still check versioning in the destination bucket and see. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to the destination bucket. Okay, versioning is enabled. Yeah, it's enabled. Save changes. Can't see, can't find any challenge. Why new buckets, new objects are not replicating? Mm-hmm. You see that we have to also in the destination bucket. Let's take it one step at a time. We enable version, other things. But we are not supposed to create replication rule in this bucket because we are not moving it from this to another bucket. We are not. Let's go back and check, ensuring that everything is right. No, we can't create a new one. Let's see bucket. We say, let's go down to see. All right. Okay, we would ensure that we have that verified and what it's blocking it. So at this junction, we would briefly take a look at the storage classes. So we will not be held stagnant. Let's talk about the storage classes and that would enable you to choose the best that suits your financial plan. And the same thing we're going to do by when we go in to create bucket. We have lots of bucket being created now. So let's just pick anyone and see how we can add a file. Let's say TMX1 is what we want to work with, and we want to add a file. Let's see what are the files in here. We go in and say add file. Okay, go down to pick header of this TDC, clicking it in. Okay, you click it in. You've added the file, so you upload it now. You upload. Then close. You go back to properties. Then you go down to comment. I hope I've not passed storage. Okay. All right. So, but before that, let me just give us an explanation of what the storage class is in before we move to management and start taking a look at the different storage classes which we have. Let's take a look at it. I have a slide here. No, not this one. Should have some slides from a professional. Okay. All right. So now there are different kinds of storage classes which we have from AWS, and we must understand them. If not, we will not be able to save things in the way we should save them in S3. And two things that we must understand first is the durability and the availability of S3. Okay, this slide is gotten from Stefan Marek, and I give him the credit. Okay, so durability and availability. So now AWS durability said have high durability of 99.9999 dash. So you see that about 11 nines, that is the durability of every object across different availability zone, multiple availability zone. That means that if you store 10 million objects with Amazon S3, you can, on an average, expect to incur a loss of a single object once every 10,000 years. Wow, this is massive. 10 million objects within 10,000 years is only when you can say that maybe one can, be missing. That's serious. So, and the same thing is applicable to all storage classes. All storage classes are durable. Now, what is availability? The availability actually measures how ready available a service is. That is to say, on the go, at a click, all services are available. But they said it varies depending on the storage classes, which we're about to see. For example, it said S3 standard has 99.99 availability, which would say not available 53 minutes a year. That's to say that it is just only 53 minutes that you find out that in a year, a particular object that you want to access may not be available, maybe because of network issue in a split seconds or whatever. So that is about that. So now let's move down to see the different storage classes. The very first one is the standard. That is the standard is the general purpose. Most of these objects that we have been uploading goes straight into the standard, and that's where they've been going into. So, and that has the 99.99 availability. So you should be familiar with these figures, but not to cram them in your head, but just know when we talk about availability, you not think of 99.99%. And when we talk about durability, you not think of 99.99 about 11 nines. That's the durability, which signifies for 10 million files, then within 10,000 years, it's only a single file that could be missing. That's the meaning of that. So this particular storage has frequent access, which means it is something that you can frequently access. It has a low latency and high throughput. All right, so that is about that. Said in case a big data analytics mobile or gaming application content distribution. So people who want to use big data analytic guys and mobile and gaming applications, they prefer to go with the standard. All right. So now let's see the second one. The second storage class is infrequent. Infrequent access. From the name, it shows that you do not go in there to want to start accessing your files frequently. Okay, but you require rapid access when needed. So anytime you want to get in, you can get in, and get it. So, but it's less cost when compared with the standard of the storage classes. Is less costly because you don't go there to use it always. That is why it's called infrequent. We have the Amazon S3 standard infrequent access. that is infrequent access, S3 standard IA. The same now, this is a single, after the 99.9, it's just a single 9 there. That is how available it will be. Okay, so most times they use it for disaster recovery. All right, for if you think about disaster recovery, that should be your option, but is infrequent access, which means it's something that you don't go more often. Then Amazon S3, one zone infrequent access. Now the word one zone, it's scary. It shows that you have a single AZ, though it's highly durable, and the availability goes down to 99.5% availability. So it's good for storing secondary backup copies of on-premise data or data you can recreate, you see, because it's on a single AZ, is data you can recreate. You only use it for data that you can recreate. Okay, once we get into the life cycle under management, we should be able to talk about them. So we have S3 Glacier. The S3 Glacier storage classes are about three of them. We have the Glacier Instant Retrieval, we have the Amazon S3 Glacier Flexible Retriever, and we have the Amazon S3 Glacier Deep Archive. Now let's see their differences. It said millisecond retrieval, which means you can access it faster than a second. Great for data access once a quarter. So if your data is something that you can access within 3 months, you want to access within 3 months once, you can pick this option. The minimum storage durability duration is for 90 days. That's the 3 months we're talking about. So if you know that you may not want to get in and be accessing your data frequently, and you can only do it once in 3 months, this becomes your option. Then the second one, which is the S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval, is that it's formerly Amazon S3 Glacier. We have Amazon S3 Glacier in previous times. So this is expedited 1 to 5 minutes. You can 1 to 5 minutes, you see, and say the standard 3 to 5 hours, bulk 5 to 10, 12 hours, free, minimum storage duration of 90 days. What are they talking about? Said expedited, maybe the speed here now, that is about the speed, yeah, that is about that. And then you can, the standard is 3 to 5 hours. You could have gotten your object. Then, because flexible retrieval, that's how they show how often you may want to access it. That is that. So for bulk is within 5 to 12 hours. And they said it's free. You can see it, but minimum storage duration is for 90 days. Okay, so Amazon S3 Glacier Deep Archive for long-term storage, that is 180 days. This is what I want you to catch. 180 days. So that's about that. Let's see if we still have any. Okay, so now let's move into our AWS console and see how we can now start creating what is called the life cycle policies, and using the life cycle policies to see how we can choose an option for every object we create. So now we say create life cycle rule. So we may click it and move down to inputting our names. Let's take Team X, and assuming Benjamin has retired, we say this. And what else, again, is appropriate for us to, so let's say we take apply to all objects in the bucket. All right. So let's acknowledge, it said apply to all objects. If you want the rule to apply to specific object, you must use a filter. Okay, so I acknowledge that this rule will apply to all objects. Let's acknowledge it. We acknowledge and we go down to see what is there. So the next thing here is a lifecycle rule action. Say move. This one is saying move current version of objects between storage classes. So what does it mean? Now, we are enabling it so that over time, because of cost, if it stays in a particular storage class, maybe for 90 days, we want to ask it to move the object to another storage class that would be less expensive, that will be less costly. That is what we want to do. And that is why we are choosing it. So every option here can be chosen. This one is move concurrent version of object between storage classes, expire current version of objects, permanently delete non-current version of objects. So all these are options you have, but let's get down here. So what do we have here now? We have the standard IA, but let's get in to see under the transitioning and current version. Let's pick this guy, okay, which is our very first guy. And what duration should we give? Let's say 30 days. If it stays here 30 days, please move it to the next phase, intelligent tiering. Move it to intelligent tiering and leave it there for 60 days for us. All right. Then we may say, okay, for Glacier, let's get a Glacier flexible, and Glacier flexible, leave it there for 180 days, which we saw in our slide, 180 days. And we have this. So having done this, we can instead acknowledge that this lifecycle rule incur a one-time lifecycle request cost per object. Yeah, if we, so this is that. I acknowledge it. So we move down and it's telling us what's going to happen. Can you see how the versioning, it will be, the object will be moving now, but we've not asked we've not given it a permission to say, if after 180 days, we have not used it, delete it, permanently delete it. So what do? We may still go back upstairs, all right, and repeat what we have done by clicking this permanently delete non-current version of object, delete expired object. So now we've clicked this, you can see that we have given it the permission now to delete it. All right. So permanently delete. Okay, we can say days after object become non-current. Enter the number of days. We can say 30 days. And number of new version to retain is optional. So let's leave it. So now, having done that, we can just come down to say create, but I'm not going to click create because it's cost intensive. So we just assume that I've clicked create now. So that is about the storage classes and life cycle policy. Okay, so that is that. Now we did something in the replication. We replicated the file, we submitted it, and we went in and we did not see the replication. Okay, so that is what we would resolve before we commence with our next class. So this is all about S3 for you to know at this level. Every other thing that is required of you, you can go in and study it for yourself and be very, very good at it. So you must practice. You must practice. So what do? Let's go in now and see if we can stop sharing and stop our recording. Oh, that's my friend's face. Benjamin, you have eaten this evening twice. You've eaten this evening twice. And we have not eaten. Look at what you're doing to us.
Are you sure?